searching for a sentence. I'm looking at the time and wondering this escalation. If not addressed, we'll dive in the abyss, and I'll miss the lips I've yet to kiss. When you're lost for words, don't be upset. And that's the time to realize what's lost for words, don't be upset. And that's the time to realize know what's coming next.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, how are you guys doing tonight on Friday night? We are here. We're going to do something new today, something a little new. We're going to be doing an interview, and I thought, who else to interview but a good friend of mine. His name is Capo, is what he goes by on Spotify. He has just released his debut album titled Joseph. If you have heard me mention him before in the channel, he also used to be the drummer in my band before the band was canceled by America. That's why we don't perform anymore. Anyways, all right, maybe that's not true. But anyways, I'm going to unmute my friend. We got him here. We're going to change screens. We're going to talk about each of the songs, and then at the end, I'm going to give my own little review of the album, give my critiques, all that stuff. But yeah, here is my friend Capo.
Yo, what's...
Oh, let me make sure this is working right.
I can see something happening over there.
Yo, what's up? Okay, yeah, it does. I think you're talking assertively into it.
I gotta be assertive, SpongeBob.
Yep, you gotta be assertive. When will you interview Teddy? I'm never gonna interview Teddy. Okay? That's just not gonna happen. Besides, his voice isn't public yet.
You're not gonna interview Teddy Roosevelt?
No, well, especially not that guy. So overhyped. No, he's my favorite. I love that guy.
Overhyped.
All right, what's up? This is my friend Capo. What's up?
I don't know, just chilling. It's been a pretty good day. It's a positive EP.
That's great.
Album. I don't know why it got titled as an EP for starters, because like,
Is it intended to be an album or
it was
an EP?
intended to be an album. Like,
Okay.
There's been like, I know albums that are 20 minutes ish in length, and this is just a.
Maybe it's because of the what? How did you upload it through CD Baby or
through
CD Baby? Maybe it got titled as an EP because of the track list, like because there's 6 songs. Because sometimes people will determine the length. Like I was calling an EP not because of the length of the album, because it's long enough to be an album. There's albums that are 25, 20 minutes, but I was doing it because of the track list. There's 6 songs. Usually for me, an EP is like 6 or less songs. Though to be fair, and by that logic, an EP could be 5 hours long if each song is an hour long.
like "Wish You Were Here" by Pink Floyd.
Yeah,
5 songs.
that's true. You know what? Wish You Were Here. It's officially an EP now.
Weekend earlier is My Dear Melody.
I'm not sure. Not sure. I think My Dear Melancholy is an EP.
Okay, in that case, Daytona by Pusha T. Also 6 songs. About 20 is considered.
By the way, chat, let me know if he's coming in clear, because if not, I can just readjust this layout for us.
Are we good?
No, because sometimes it doesn't activate.
Are we good?
We probably should have tested it. Although I did this, Capo's mic is cutting out.
Ah.
Let me see. Maybe it's because the plug is this mic fucked up. All right, testing. 1 2 1 2 testing. Get away from me. Okay, hello. How much would woodchuck chuck if woodchuck could chuck wood? Okay, I think it's picking up now.
Yeah. We just need to
Kiss-
reboot
You need to
it.
kiss the mic. But
Very intimate with the mic.
yes, you got to get intimate.
Yeah.
You can't be at a loss for words with your mic.
Hey.
Hey, all right. So I think what we're gonna do, you guys, so the song you guys just heard was "Lost for Words," which is the first track off of Joseph. Let's start with explain the title of your album to the good people here.
So, when I announced the project as Joseph, Joseph is for one my middle name. It's a middle name that I share with my brother. Joseph, Joe, or they is a very common name in my family, but I primarily called it Joseph as tribute towards my stepfather, who is named Joseph and has been very supportive of my musical endeavors for as long as I've had him in my life. So that is the main focus of calling it Joseph.
Okay.
And also the songs on here, I wrote a majority of these in like 2021 when we were all in lockdown. So my family was the first to really hear those songs. So they were the ones to really give me like perception about like, oh wow, Anthony, these are actually like, you're making good songs. And I'm like, oh really?
Right.
So that period of time I really valued their input, especially his, when it came to what I was doing and how to approach the songs and whatnot.
Okay. So for that first song, "Lost for Words." All right, so I'm gonna ask you off the bat, is "Lost for Words," so you know the famous saying, "I'm at a loss for words," is it intended to be like a play on the words "lost for words"?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just those lyrics came to me like over time, like I had that 2 polychord progression since like the end of 2019 actually. I was like fiddling around on my keyboard and I just kind of found that, and this would be to make a song out of. And yeah, just that chorus came to me, the "when you're lost for words," and I don't know, just I didn't want to overthink it
Yeah.
and just like letting the song happen without trying to, how do I say this, without forcing it, you know.
Yeah, of course. No, yeah.
So I was lost for words at times when writing this song.
Yeah,
'cause
of
it was just
course.
like
No, I get that for sure. I was driving on the way to work today, and I had this idea for a song. You know the song "Wish You Were Here" by Incubus, right?
yes.
So that song has like and other Incubus songs too. They have parts where they're kind of sing rapping a little bit rather than just straight up singing. And I kind of wanted to write a song like that, but the words just were not coming to me. And when I was thinking of words, it was the most like simplistic rhyming, which, by the way, there should be no shame in writing simplistically, because sometimes writing simplistically is the best. It's the most people are going to understand you when you're like rhyme with time, mine, fine. You know, it was like some people will be like, you should never say "I love you" in a song because it's so like, it's so generic. But it's like, we are people. We are generic.
Well,
as a
too
whole.
bad, because I have a song that includes that
yeah.
phrase. Not on this, but something I intend to record and release for later this year.
What was the music? What was the musical influence for "Lost for Words"? Because I get a lot of like I'm trying to think of what it reminds me of. It gives me like kind of like a little bit of like Peter Gabriel vibes.
And I've not heard that one, but I'll take that compliment. I didn't really put a label on it or a phrase to like really describe it until I was uploading the album, and me and my producer and friend Christian Martinez, we were listening over the song again, and I'm like, this is songs about Jane. This is Maroon 5.
Oh, I can see that. Like
This
one of the
is-
slower songs
This is
on
like
there.
this is my Sunday morning.
Yes, I love that song. Man, remember when Maroon 5 was awesome?
Before the dark times.
Songs about
before the
Jane.
Empire.
Songs About Jane was such a great album.
That is their great album.
Oh man.
Hey, some people there is no shame in peaking with your first album when your first album is just that good. The Maroon 5
Oh,
did
of
it.
course.
The Killers did it. I'm sure there's other
Boston.
Oh, yeah.
Boston's first album was one of the greatest first albums ever made.
That is a top 10 if not top 5 best first album.
Easy. A lot of the grunge bands did a lot of great first albums. You look at
well, not Nirvana cuz Nevermind's their sophomore album.
well, Bleach is a great album though. But it's not their best.
People don't talk about Bleach nearly as much as In
No,
Utero
of course
or
they don't talk
Nevermind.
about it. But also another great first
10
10
Jam.
by Pearl Jam. That's another great first album. Core by Stone Temple Pilots. That's an amazing album.
Soundgarden took a while to get to where they were.
Oh yeah. It took them a little bit of time. But what was
Lost for Words.
Lost for Words. Yeah.
Sunday morning, Maroon 5.
Yeah.
We've circled back.
I really like, but yeah, I really like that song. I think it's my second favorite song in the album.
Okay.
So the next one, Eucharist,
Mm-hmm.
is your first instrumental on the album.
Yes.
What was the inspiration for Eucharist?
I was just kind of fiddling around on the piano, and I have like too many voice memos on my phone of chord progressions or just like rhythmic melodic like ditties that I've made so that like I've left to the side, and like I need to record at that moment, otherwise like this great idea would be lost to the void and I'd never think of it again. And I just thought it sounded so pretty that, and also like with the chords and involved, it would serve as a good transition into Red-Handed.
Mm.
Also, funnily enough, I end Lost for Words with a chorus, and the chorus ends with no words come next. What comes next? A song with
instrumental.
no words.
No, that's good. I like that.
And when it came to like making a name for it's funny, for an instrumental you can just kind of call it anything because there's no words for it.
Right.
So you just kind of call it whatever you want. And I thought to myself, it kind of sounds like it sounds pretty. So I should what should I associate with pretty? I'll think of a flower, but I don't want to just call it like a daffodil. I don't want to call the song Daffodil. I don't want to
Should call
call
it
it
Daffodil.
I don't want to call it a rose because I was like scrolling through like the scientific names of flowers, and I landed on Eucharist because it sounded mysterious. It just sounded cool, and it was a pretty flower attached to it. I was just like, okay, this works.
Okay, so I'm gonna play. With your permission, I'm gonna play like the first 30 seconds of the song,
Mm-hmm.
so people get a sample of it.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
You want to hear the rest of it? Stream it. Buy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, make sure you guys stream this album. By the way, how long did it take you to produce this album? How long was this in production for?
So the first song I actually recorded for this was Another Day.
Okay.
The last song, and that was in July of 2019.
Damn. Why?
And like, yeah, I didn't even intend for it to like be on what would eventually become this. Like,
Right.
to be honest, like I just kind of got busy with all my bands, like with making album for Gray Street,
Yeah.
for Creature Cage, doing Split Magic stuff,
Gray Street,
working
best
with
band in
April
Miami.
Nicole, working with Taylor Davis, working with just I don't know, I was just got busy, and so the time that I had to like make stuff for myself, I wasn't really thinking of it so much because I was focused on the music that I was doing with other people.
Yeah.
But that gave me the creative outlet and the experience to inform what I would make for this and what I have on my phone and in my mind to make later. So yeah.
All right, yeah.
It's been a long road to get to here. Funnily enough, I performed Lost for Words at the fair in 2022. That's how long that song has been
That's crazy.
like sitting around for.
I think that's the last time we also performed at the fair, 2022, right?
Yeah.
Because like in 2023, they were like
they were
didn't
doing
want
like an around the
bands.
world
Yeah,
thing.
some around the world thing. We should have played Japanese music. We could have gotten in.
But yeah, for I guess for Eucharist as well, I didn't really care about the time signature either. Like when I recorded that, I didn't even record with a metronome. I just wanted to feel it out, which is something I also did with Take Your Time, being literally taking my time song, like not being. But we'll get to that when we get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I get Eucharist. It just feels like yeah. As much as I people get like just relegated to like you are an artist, you are a songwriter, but we are also composers. And like I don't know, this isn't my stab at being John Williams or Hans Zimmer, but like you listen to that and then you put on like maybe just like the piano version of the Interstellar theme, just like that quiet, subdued, like you're just piano and you just I don't know, it feels vulnerable after all that instrumentation of Lost for Words.
Yes.
And then you're just left in silence with no words.
Exactly. I forgot to ask, is there a particular reason why you wanted to start the album off with Lost for Words? Or was it just wanted it to start like
it just made sense.
Made sense. Okay.
Like it just felt right. There was no mastermind scheme of like, yes, this is gonna generate the greatest emotional reaction. It just made sense, like emotionally. I'm not that much of a mastermind. Only part time.
I wish I was more like that sometimes, because for me, I remember, I think I spent like hours deciding what the layout for Gray Street's first album was gonna be. Like, which I did know from the top that what's the first song on the album? I've totally forgot now.
Was it Woman?
No, Woman's not the first song. What is it? Forgetting the song.
I'm looking it up.
Going insane. I'm forgetting the name of the song.
Relapse Withdrawal.
Relapse Withdrawal. Yeah. So my reasoning, I knew from the start I wanted that to be the first song on the album because it sounded like the opening to an album. It sounded like an opener.
Yeah.
And also, a personal reason I picked that was because the word in that song is relapse, which I personally took, even though I didn't write it, it was Danny that wrote it. I took it as a reference to Relapse of Truth, which was the original name of the band when I started in high school.
Oh.
Yeah. So that was the other reason why, because I was
lore.
Like,
we got the lore.
Callback. Yeah, dude. Oh man, I haven't heard that album in a while, to be honest.
Same.
Yeah.
I'll maybe I'll do that later when I on my drive.
I'll do an interview on myself.
Yeah.
Like, what made Jesus in that?
You just get a full like a mirror and you just like disassociate.
I wish we could have done like an interview with like all five of us.
The Gray Street retrospective. The Gray Street anthology.
Exactly. We're like the Sex Pistols. We had one album.
I think our album's better than Nevermind the Bollocks.
Oh my god, that's a hot take. I agree. Look, Nevermind the Bollocks is a classic, and it's got 3 great songs on it, and that's about it. It's got Pretty Vacant, Anarchy in the UK, and God Save the Queen. Everything else is like, it's
Look,
fine.
You all got to start somewhere. Punk had to start somewhere, and punk got better after the Sex Pistols.
That's true. That's true. All right, next up we have Red Handed. I think instead of playing it at the end of asking you about it, I think I'm going to play it at the start. So we're going to play the first 30 seconds of Red Handed, and then we're going to talk about it.
Another smile is on your face. It summons mine as we carry on this race. Our destination is unclear. It doesn't matter just as long as you are near. You caught me red-handed.
Okay.
Man, I'm still so proud of that.
It kind of gave me like early Coldplay vibes.
Like Fix You, Parachutes.
Earlier than what is that fucking album called?
Parachutes.
No, it's after Parachutes.
Oh, Rush of Blood to the Head.
Rush of Blood to the Head. Yeah, that one. Because Fix You was in X's and Y's, right? X and Y?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. It's a great song, though. I gotta put in my phone before I start arguing with someone about Toy Story. This channel knows how much I hate Toy Story, so they know I'll get into a fight over it.
So I have a more detailed descript of what went into Red Handed.
Okay.
So
How red were your hands when you wrote that song?
Moderately, just from
Okay.
playing the piano so much.
Okay.
So I was hanging out at the Remy studio in like July or June of it was the summer of 2021. We were just kind of hanging out, and 2 of them were going to go get Popeyes. And for whatever reason, I decided, you know what? When you guys get back, like, you guys go ahead. I'm going to write a song. I'm going to, and I'll have a song by the time you guys get back.
Damn.
And it wasn't completed, but I had the musical structure, and I had the first verse of Red Handed within the span of half an hour. Like, starting from nothing.
Okay.
And this is long before I had thought of having Eucharist as a interlude of sorts to like go into that. I went back to that same mentality that I had that which would go into take your time, which is to write an 8-chord progression.
Okay.
I feel like nothing against 4-chord progressions. Like if you do it right and you like make it interesting. Progression.
Yeah.
And it's,
Nothing against 1-chord progression.
Yeah, you can have Tomorrow Never Knows.
Tomorrow Never Knows is a great song.
But yeah, I just had that motion of like, okay, how do I go from here to here, and like it sounds interesting because I'm very glad at the end of the day. Sometimes I feel like my music minor has like impacted me more than my history major.
Yeah.
Like learning theory and all that, because it's allowed me to know the rules and how to break them, and also to never mind the rules.
Yeah, I totally. So, one thing I always try to break. I totally relate to that, because when I'm playing guitar solos, I used to just do my guitar solos however I do them, because I didn't know any scales. I didn't know anything like that. So, like, for example, the solo in we didn't even do these songs with you, but one of the songs was Musket Cannons, and Musket Cannons goes into Brand New Night. And the solos I did there, I didn't have any music theory behind that. I was just playing, and I think it's some of my favorite solos that I did. Very impactful in my opinion. But after I learned how to do like some scales, I felt like a lot of my solos started sounding more similar, and I would have to try extra hard to break out of it. So instead of, what the hardest part was to break out of the scale, because I would still be playing the scale, I would just be playing things differently. So I feel like, I had like a signature thing I would play, which was da-na-na-na-na-na-na. I would always do that like guitar line in almost all my solos. But you know, yeah, I get what you mean. Trying to like break out of what you know to free yourself to more options.
Yeah. So like the chorus, the verses are their own 8-chord progression. The chorus is its own 8-chord progression, and then the bridge a 5-chord progression.
Nice.
And it just kind of came to me as I was writing the lyrics of just how I was feeling at the time about somebody that I was interested in, and I thought of like being when someone realizes that you feel something more for them, or that you realize that you feel something more for them, the emotional guilt that can come with that, where you feel like not to be yourself and them, and it feels like a crime. So you've caught me red-handed, as it like to feel like the way that I feel is a crime, but also the act of fault. Like the chorus is, "You caught me red-handed." Coming in from the bridge is, "I fell for you with reckless abandon. Imagine my relief that you handed." Like I was literally falling in love and you caught me. Now what do? And there's no real like resolution to it, because I pose the question of like, what do you do? Are you gonna let me go, or are you gonna wear me out like a glove? Or are you gonna like use me, like just like pretend that it's not there and like just take advantage of my kindness, or are we actually gonna make something happen? Like maybe you are interested to want to pursue something. So it's I have the questions. I'm in the situation. Like even the song starts like, "Another smile is on your face." Like we're not at the beginning of the story. We're at the climax almost. Like where do we go from here? This is the so what are we?
Yeah, no, I totally get where you're coming from. But yeah, I like Red-Handed a lot.
It also plays with the red of the album cover as well.
Yes. By the way, I do like the album cover. Who took this picture?
Shout out to Melanie.
Yes.
Of Glass Orange.
Melanie. She's awesome. She takes great pictures.
Yes, I had her take all the photos. Funnily enough, this is at the Remy studio. This is the piano that they have in there. And out of like about a dozen photos that she took, all of them are fantastic. But this one, I was just like, I also talked about it with Christian. I was just like, "You're the only one who's heard my music more than I'm the only one who's heard the music more than you. Like we're the people who've interacted with it more. What image sounds like these group of songs the most?" And he picked that one, and I was just like, I was feeling the same way too. So we settled on that image. It feels very striking.
So your producer, did he produce it all, or did you guys co-produce?
He produced it all, but we were at the computer. We were on Reaper. We used Reaper for all of this.
Based Reaper. I use Reaper too.
So yeah, we spent a good many hours for all the songs.
Did you do all the instruments?
I did most of the instruments. He did all of the bass work. He actually is the one who did the drums for Lost for Words.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I thought it would be you that did.
Next time.
Well,
funnily enough, I'm already working on something.
Get to that at the end, though.
And I already did the drums for that, because I had a very specific
link for Joseph.
For it.
Yes. Thank you for reminding me. We'll put the Spotify link, but it's available.
It's available everywhere. Even Target Music.
Yo, Target Music. Let's go. Let's go.
Yes, your Amazon Music, your Pandora. It's also on iTunes, and I've been meaning to say that more on my Instagram stories, is that you can stream the heck out of this album however you like, but there's anything that like really boosts how an album does is actually purchasing it, whether it's through iTunes or through Google or whatever. It's purchasing the thing, and you don't even have to listen to it through your music app. If you want to stream it through Spotify only, go ahead. But it would really mean the world to also purchase it for like what $6.
Yeah. Also, in order to help boost your numbers, I'm also gonna for the rest of this month I'll be opening my streams with a song at least.
Well, thank you.
However, in return, I'm gonna take 50% of your revenue. You know, someone to go with the bad. Anyways.
Okay, Colonel.
Okay. So
if you know, you know
If
that
you know, you know.
reference.
all right, next up we have what is my favorite song. Fourth. This is my favorite song on the album.
This is my stepfather's favorite song as well. This is
Nice.
also the first song I wrote in quarantine.
Oh,
Yeah, I wrote Fourth and Take Your Time back to back, in like within the span of like 2 weeks.
nice.
Because I was Fourth is it really interesting because I wrote that song like I wrote all of it musically. It was just on the piano and I just like thought of like the way it flowed, and like the verses are in 7, but then also like have like a 4 to it. Like I just kind of felt it out, and then the chorus is what's almost like in 12/8.
Oh man, that's crazy.
And I didn't even like realize that it was in that time feel until like I really like sat down and thought about, oh yeah, it's actually kind of unconventional the way it is. But I thought about, because we were in like 2 weeks into lockdown, and I was just thinking about local shows and like missing them very
Yeah.
much, and just like the experience of like getting together. And it actually it what I talked about in that song kind of rang true for me more when we came out of lockdown, and I'd be playing at more shows or just attending more shows in general, where I feel like there's people that we see at local shows who we get along with very well, but neither person makes the move to become friends or to hang out more outside of that.
Yeah.
So we just have these moments of like seeing each other randomly elsewhere, or we just see them at shows. And especially that last verse where I tie in what I said in the first verse of like we had mutual friends who were doing their own thing in the
This
first
is
verse.
live, Vicky.
And then in the third verse I say we had mutual friends who have moved away. So if it's and with how some
Yeah.
people in the scene have been moving or are planning to move to LA or elsewhere.
Well, Miami is just not conducive to being in a band. Like, if you want to be in a band, if you want to be in a band in Florida, you need to be Central Florida or above. Like, I know the Orlando scene is pretty good.
Yeah, it is. Can attest to having witnessed it.
Let's just move to Orlando and play at the House of Blues. That was my dream, by the way. Playing at the House of Blues, that was like my dream. Ah, God. Yo, also, what's up, Vicky? Anyways,
Hello.
Vicky's, well, a lot of these people are regulars in chat, as you can tell by all the blue. But, but no, Fourth, I really liked. I totally, like the thing about when you meet people at live shows and you're like, oh, we get along, we're so friendly. But then, like, neither party, like, speaking for myself, I just have problems putting that foot forward, especially with other bands. Because I don't want to come off as, oh, I'm just getting close to you because I want to further my prospects of getting shows and being in a band. Which, of course, that plays a part in it if I'm in a band. That's a part of it.
We can be
But at the
equally
same
selfish
time-
and selfless.
Yeah, like our relationship with Pandorama is part of that, wanting to be connected with another band for the health of our band, of course. But also, I love Panda. Panda's an awesome guy. I love Panda and Steve. And I genuinely love their music. I've played their songs a few times opening my streams before. I still wanna. I actually asked Panda the other day. I want to cover Miami Weather, because I think I could do a good cover of it.
Okay.
So I might do a cover of Miami Weather in the future.
Oh, yeah,
I just love that song. That's a great song.
No, I love hell in during quarantine I did a whole live stream of covering local artists.
Yeah,
Covered the
I remember.
Remy's.
I saw
covered
that.
Midday Moon. I did like my cousin's band from like 2011. I
Oh my
covered a song
God.
from them. Like the Miami scene before I even knew that the Miami scene even existed.
One band I loved when I was in high school was I think they were called Purple Sun. They were an awesome band, super cool. The front man was like celebrity material. He had it. Not even in it with his singing. His singing was fine.
As a
But
front man.
As a front man, he had the energy. He was electrifying. And another band I really liked that I saw once was a band called Early Bird. They had like a Weezer vibe to them that I really, really liked. But we're going to play 30 seconds from Fourth, and then we're going to move on. We're going to see if you have anything else to say about it, and then we'll move on to Take Your Time.
Well, it'll only be 30 seconds, so I'll tie in like part of the title, like Fourth of I met you on 4th and Main, and then I say I met you again on the 4th of May.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I have to put 4th as the fourth track.
The fourth
It
track.
just
No, yeah, I get that.
a little tongue in cheek, but yeah.
There you go.
Met you at a party on 4th and Main. A bottle of wine and a glass of champagne. We had mutual friends that were doing their own thing. But I didn't see you until you started to sing. There were days when I'm old, tired of feeling the same, watching the days unfold without a hat to hold, waiting for something to change. I believe we are scared of meaning attached to our name, thinking it's unfair when feelings are laid bare without anyone to care. But it
God, I'm so proud of that song.
I get super Billy
these years
Joel
later.
vibes off of that.
Yes, Billy Joel, I was told Father John Misty vibes as well,
Oh,
although
okay.
I've not listened to much of him, so I can't really
I heard a little bit of
confirm.
Father John Misty. I like him. But yeah, definitely Billy Joel vibes from that.
Yeah, shout out to the
I also think your
royalty-free...
voice, of all the tracks, I think your voice sounds the best on that track too.
Okay. Yeah, shout out to the royalty-free restaurant sound effects.
I recognize that audience too because I think I used it for one of my parodies before. I think it was for a parody called Behind Drunk Eyes, which was a parody Behind Blue Eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I think I used the same exact one, but you know, it's all good. You know, royalty-free shit. It's
like-
easier than going to a bar and be like, can you guys just be ambient for me?
Yeah, or like recording it like through a phone and...
Or no, we record. Oh my god, I remember I wanted to do a thing where I wanted us to be the crowd.
Oh, I think you...
Remember I wanted a gospel choir at the end of Unknown?
Yes.
I still maintain that would have been cool. I don't understand what I done today, and I never will. I still think that would hit so hard. It'd be like a Hercules moment. It would hit so hard. The problem would be trying to orchestrate that, because I have no fucking clue how we do it. We go full Queen on that shit. But no, yeah, Fourth is a great song. I really like it.
Yeah. That's also my stepdad's favorite song.
Yes.
That I've made. I also had like if I didn't, I'd feel like yeah. And funnily enough, I briefly considered releasing Fourth as a single, but I decided just releasing this project in totality, like just all at once, because I'm tired of the singles. I'm tired of just I've called it breadcrumbing your own music, because I feel like it's just a single after single after single, and like much love to like even like what I'm referring to is like even people I know in the scene, and like I love y'all and I respect y'all, but and like to each their own, and we do what we can, but I'm tired of it. Like I feel like we're just putting all our eggs into one basket every 3 months, and it's just like a shot, like it's all a shot in the dark, but to like hopefully like get that song to a million streams is like, I don't know. It doesn't even feel like it means anything anymore. Like there's bands in the scene who have songs with like a couple songs with a million streams, but we're all still here. and I feel like people are afraid of like this. That's another thing that I'm mad about the EP thing, because I wanted to call that an album, because I feel like people are afraid of the term album or a record. Like they're just making EPs, or like it's like, oh, this isn't like oh, just go make your artistic statement. Just go and do it. Not
Well, I
be
think
afraid
there is
to
some
just
viability to calling something an EP, or calling, like, for example, when I showed you that one song I made, which I still haven't released yet, but I wanted to release that as a demo. But the reason I want to just call it a demo isn't because I'm not confident in it. It's because, for me, it's just not finished yet. And it's not going to be finished until I finish the rest of the album. Because what I want to do is I want to get... So the slide there, I lost my slide. So I actually used my kazoo for the slide. I went with the kazoo. But I want to get an actual nice sounding slide for the acoustic guitar. I actually want to use a Spanish guitar for it because I think it'll fit the vibe more. There's a lot of changes I'm going to make. And that's what I think can be viable for a single. A single's good. A single, it depends how many songs are in your album. So for like a 6-song album, at most, maybe one single. But you don't want to like breadcrumb the rest of your songs, because then you won't have anything left for people to listen to.
right.
So for example, for the Gray Street album, we had 13 songs. And we released
5 singles.
4 or 5 singles. I don't count Week, because Week was like...
Oh no, I wasn't even thinking of that. I was thinking of
We had...
Here, I have it.
Yeah, you got it there.
We released Woman as a single. We released Chase as a single. We released Square One as a single. We released Pretty as a single.
What I Want.
And What I Want.
So we released 5 singles.
Yeah. Off a 13-track album, and Hidden Trap, which is
Weak.
Which is Weak.
Not really.
5.5.
So yeah, but yeah, that in hindsight was way too many. But at the same time, I wanted to release the singles. One, because I felt like anyone that knew the band from before we were Gray Street had been waiting for us to release music for so long, and I didn't want to keep people waiting. I wanted to give people, okay, here, this is what we're working on. We're working on stuff.
It's also a good way to build momentum, and it's a hefty album. It's 13 songs.
Yeah, and it's our first it was our first album too, and totally self-produced in a bedroom. You know, I
bedroom
think,
pop.
bro. So I sent the song in to this guy. I don't know if you've heard of him. His name is Brad Taste in Music.
Yes.
I sent it to him to review it. I paid like $90 because he does $9 per minute, and I was like, "Can you review a minute from each of the songs here?" And so he did that, and he ended up giving us like a 3 out of 10, which, to be fair, is better than a lot of Limp Bizkit albums he's rated. So we're doing better than Limp Bizkit, which I don't know if that says much at all.
We need a business card.
But what he did say,
say,
because I did inform him that, oh well, this was all produced in like our bedroom, and he was like, this is actually super well produced with that in mind. And his biggest complaints about a lot of the songs is that he was saying that the songs were like past their time. Like, for example, The Chase, he was saying that this song is past its time because you don't meet people at bars anymore. Which, one, I don't think a song can ever be past its time. And two, that's not true. You do still meet people at bars. It's not as common, but you do. So I disagreed with some of his criticisms, although I like him better than Fantano, personally. And 4. Oh yeah, it says 24 minutes 19 seconds is your album.
Yeah, that should be an album.
That is an album. Yo, what's up, Sherry?
Hello.
She always calls me gay. Don't worry about it. She bullies me. She's a bully. All right.
It's a friendly bullying.
No, not friendly. She attacks me. Heinous bully. No, she's good. She's a good. I told you about her earlier.
Yes,
she's a good friend. Why are you a furry? I'm not a furry. Don't derail my interview. All right. Anyways, ignore it. Ignore it. Don't pay attention to it. Okay. So, what were we even talking about?
Oh, also, this is another song that I did not use. Also, just
yeah, I don't like using a metronome if I don't have to be honest. Like, You Love Me. It's true. I personally don't like I remember when Danny was like, "Oh, when we get in-ears, we can all put on metronomes." And I was like, "You can put on a metronome. I don't want to have a metronome." Cuz I feel like metronomes distract me more than help me.
There's more pressure to like be on time as well.
Yeah,
like if
like-
you're doing something complicated, like
If you're
have you seen that video of Polyphia?
Yeah.
Like the drummer, like his in-ears going out, and like the one guy like tapping on his leg to like keep the time.
Yeah.
And like that's cool, but at the same there's pros and cons to it.
Well, then you can't do cool stuff. You know the song "Heat of the Moment" by Asia, right?
Yes.
You know that song's verses and choruses are at a different BPM, right?
Yes.
You can't do that with a metronome.
Smells Like Teen Spirit is not on a metronome. Like you feel like the it picks up. It's not on the grid.
It
feels
of course not.
natural.
That's what I'm saying. Because I want to write a song like that where I have like the verses and the choruses be. I actually wrote a song. I totally forgot about it by now, so it's not gonna probably be a thing. But I wrote a song where the verse, the chorus, and the bridge were all different time signatures. I think the chorus was in 3/4, the bridge was in 5/4, and then the chorus was 4/4, verses were 3/4, and the bridge was 5/4.
Or like say the Beatles actually performed "Happiness Is a Warm Gun," like that.
Or
each part of the song is is very different.
Well, Paul McCartney,
stylistically.
he did in one of those like Google interviews. He was saying how like he never played with a clicker because they didn't have that back then.
When a friend of mine and we watched Queen live in Montreal.
Nice.
And like halfway through the movie, I realized two key things. One, they were wearing zero ear protection.
Oh, God.
But also that meant there's nothing in their ears. So they're doing this big stadium show with no metronome. They're just that good.
That is so crazy. Like, I wanted the in-ears just so that way we could hear each other better. Because I always felt like there were some shows where we sounded perfect to the audience.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, after the show, I'm like, I couldn't hear my guitar. And it's like, you know, if I can't hear my guitar solos, that's obviously an issue.
I'm not opposed to in-ear monitors, but I don't like the metronome.
Yeah, I don't
want
want
to get in the way of it.
I don't want to hear. Like, leave me alone. I know how to play guitar. If
we've done these songs
all I need,
a countless amount of times, we know how it goes.
Like for
we
me,
just need to be together sonically.
I just need my drummer and my bassist to be on time. If they're on time, I'll be on time. All right, and even if I'm a little like a slight 0.1 off time, that's what makes it feel natural. We're not robots.
Yeah, Aiden and I, we just held it down. We did.
You know what I wanted to do? This is my problem when it comes to writing music. Is I become more ambitious than what I can handle, which is a good thing on one hand, but on the other hand, I should be more realistic sometimes. So one thing I wanted to write a song where each member had to do a different time signature.
Oh, that's like some King Gizzard stuff.
Yeah, it's fucking, I was like, I'm gonna do it, and I was like, and then when I sat down to write the song, I'm like,
you know what? That's why, because you shouldn't be the one writing the song solely.
That's true.
We all should have you pitched the idea, and it's like, okay, we're all in something of four, and then we'll work out the beats or the tempo. Like, say I'm in cut time.
One thing I definitely wanted to do with our second album was I wanted to have us all write the songs together.
Mm-hmm.
But after like a few songs in, I realized like we're writing even further away from each other. Because when we went to do the Sweeney Todd song, I wrote that 100%. When we did Slow Burn, he wrote that all on his own. Like, we were doing these songs, what was it, Pink Streaks?
Yeah.
Again, he wrote that all on his own. So, I mean, I think I wrote this guitar solo, but I always write the guitar. Wasabi does the guitar. But
I still have the chord progression for Enamored Overnight, and I haven't really touched, like, the lyrics.
we should do that as a collab. Anyway, next song. Next song is "Take Your Time."
Yes, take your
time. Baby, we could do it. Take the time, do it right. That's a great song.
That's an
amazing song.
Yeah. All right, play it for the people.
Okay, yeah.
Because I have a story. For
I keep
this
saying
as
I'm gonna
well.
play 30 seconds, but I'm just gonna play till the chorus until you tell me to stop.
Okay. Don't spoil them.
Yeah. This is "Take Your Time."
isn't beating. It's not your fault. You just had a feeling. We're never sure of who someone can be, but I am sure of what you mean to me. Take your time. There isn't a rush to tell everyone you'll be okay. And then take your time. If given the chance, you will find yourself another day.
I had to let that harmony part roll out because that's
Was that at all Beatles inspired?
yes.
Okay,
that is
yeah.
because
Is that like
is-
because inspired?
that- this is this is
yeah.
because
Because you wanted to take your
inspiration
time.
all the way. Beach Boys inspiration all the
Yeah.
way. Funnily enough, some of those vocal tracks are different. Like we just layered different vocal tracks and also
Nice.
double tracked a couple of them.
No,
And
I
for
could
that
definitely hear the double tracking. Yeah.
Yeah, and that specifically just that. Oh, I'm so proud of that. So
I was thinking when I was listening to it just now, what would have really added to it even more
Mhm.
if you had a reverse reverb. Yeah, like a.
reverse reverb. Oh, is it okay? Didn't pick up that first time I
Oh,
said
okay,
reverse
okay.
reverb.
Yeah, like a reverse reverb. You know, kind of like what they have in like even flow, and then it comes in
Oh, okay.
that kind of thing, but like a short one, just like and like that. But yeah. So what was the inspiration for Take Your Time?
Okay,
Tell us
take your
about it.
time. Again, it's pandemic season, and people are trying to act like they're okay. You can see right through your veneer that you are not doing okay.
You're
And
not-
it's not just like celebrities that I followed; it was also my friends that I was like seeing, and they're like, "Oh, we're just making the best of it." And it's just like, yeah, we're making the best of it, but it's okay to say that you're not okay. And that's at least for the lyrics. For the musically, I had challenged myself to write a song like with a chord progression that had C major, F sharp major in the progression. And those are polar opposite chords. They are tritone chords of each other. So I was just like, okay, how do I get there like without and like it'll make sense music. Okay. How do all right, I got to C to F sharp somehow. Now how do I get back to C?
Right.
And then I was like, okay, out map. Okay, that's the chord. And then I'm like, okay, I should have a bridge. It should not start on C. It should do something else, and it'll be its own progression. So yes, another 8-chord progression for the verse and the chorus that share the same, and then the bridge has its own 8-chord progression. Both of which I'm very proud of. Works. And yeah, take your time. Like, and also the end of the chorus is like there isn't a rush to tell everyone you'll be okay. Take your time. If given the chance, you'll find yourself another day. And that is the last track you will find. And that all just kind of worked out.
He's cutting out a little bit. Oh, okay.
Here.
Maybe that'll fix it.
Check 1, 2.
Beat the shit out of the mic.
My
I need to get a
God.
new mic. But I need
get a new version of yourself, a new mic.
Well, I need one that's not like connected with this,
Mm-hmm.
or if it does, I need it to connect that it'll connect with this input, not this. I don't know what they're called. But this jack and not this one.
Thing 1 and Thing 2.
Thing 1 and Thing 2, yeah, because I don't have another one of these. I don't have like Danny's where it's like, although he did get me this one. But so yeah, I need one of those because otherwise USB mics are just crap. And
Yeah.
And so this is obviously the best, but that's like second best. But it would still be better than a Rock Band mic. Okay, sounds better. See, there we go.
Okay.
It worked. It's the age-old just hit the shit till it works, Worked for TVs, it works for mics.
That's how they got off the meteor in Armageddon.
Exactly. They just hit it. But anyways, so anything else you want to say about Take Your Time before we move on to another day?
Yeah, I was just in that creative stride and like I had nothing to do in
Quarantine.
in quarantine, like most of us did. So I was just
we met each other after quarantine, right?
It was
how long have we known each other
January 2021. That's when Danny DM'd me.
Yeah, we've known
through
each other
Discord
for 3
to
years
be like,
now,
hey, you seem cool. You want to audition to be our drummer? That's when we had that first practice, and I met y'all. I met all of you for the first time. I hadn't met Dan, or even hadn't heard of Gray Street.
Honestly, for the Mike and the Bikers project, which I'm not gonna talk much about because we're here to talk about his thing. But I did talk to. We can say this. I did talk to you before, and I asked if you wanted to be the drummer for when I start performing with that group. You were down.
Yes.
So what we gotta find now is a bassist, and I think I might need to find a keyboardist
or another guitarist.
Another guitarist for sure, and a bassist. Although, really wish I could. I do want to hit up Aiden and be like, because I know one of the reasons Aiden. There was a few reasons Aiden quit, and that's not. We don't have to get into that here. But I know one of the reasons was because he was tired of playing the same old songs, and I don't know. Maybe if I'm like, hey, this is all gonna be new shit. Maybe he'll be down to play.
We're manifesting it.
Manifesting right now, because Aiden's
a goated bass player.
I still think he's the best bass player in Miami. No offense to any other bass players, you're all perfectly fine, but you're not as good as me. I mean, Aiden. Aiden, and not just bass playing. He was an amazing songwriter too. A lot of our best songs were written by him. Now, of course, it was always up to me to write the lyrics, but who cares? Like, the lyrics. I do a lot of the lyrics for the songs that he would write, but the music was just so fucking good, Yeah, goated. Do it, Mike. I will. So I will say during spring break, I'm gonna sit down and get to work on my album again. I haven't worked on it since when I showed it to you, and Sherry's heard it as well. And
do it, Mike.
Do it. I'll do it.
Do it.
All right. Last song we got is Another Day. So we're gonna give that a good 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna give this a good 30 seconds, and then we'll talk about it. All right.
Okay. So
I will say it gives me very spacey vibes. Like, it gives me like Space Mountain vibes, bro. I could imagine hearing this while waiting in line for Space Mountain.
Yeah,
You wrote this while waiting in line for Space Mountain. I cracked the code. No, tell us about it.
I do love that future kind of sound. Yeah, this is also just composer bag. Just like this, honestly feels closer to Interstellar.
Yeah.
than Eucharist, that's for sure. So I did have an idea for I had a concept for an album that will not be made. But a lot of those songs did transfer over to what has become.
Okay.
And I do have some songs from that maybe I know some of them I will definitely
Was
be
it supposed to be a concept
revisiting.
album?
Not I had the idea of it called the photo album.
Okay.
Where and because I had Another Day I actually released on SoundCloud on my birthday in 2019 as like my first song.
Right.
And then I'd released a couple. There are a couple covers that are still there on my SoundCloud. Of what else would have been on the album. I recorded a cover of Far Behind by Candlebox. I did My Melancholy Blues by Queen. I did I Don't Care Anymore by Phil Collins.
Great song.
So it would have been like a mix of covers and originals. I wanted to do Hallelujah as well, collabing with somebody else. But then COVID happened.
Yeah.
So it all just kind of.
Yo, what's up, Star?
My plans for what I'd be making changed with that, and yeah, Another Day, that chord progression, that F to E to A minor to B flat, I was just like simple, and I'm like, okay, can I do something else with it? And then it's not even a bridge; it's just going down to G minor and then E and then G sharp and then C and back to F. Like,
Yeah.
is it? And I considered writing lyrics for it, and then I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna let the music speak for itself. And well enough, the recording of that was kind of on the fly. I was on the piano that is pictured on the album, and I just started on the piano setting. Again, not on metronome, just kind of felt it out, and kind of settings. I added strings, I added like a choir, and I just kind of felt it. I was like, build, and then we'll drop it down. And then Chris provided a bass solo in like the middle of the song, and all I told him was just like, make it sound like you're underwater, like it's like kind of bubbling, like coming through of the song.
Right.
And then the ending specifically, I felt inspired by Tron Legacy. Like that kind of melody. Yeah, I miss Daft Punk. And this is before they even broke up. But yeah. it felt right. Yeah. Again, another song I just kind of felt out and just.
I do not. Can you tell Sherry that I'm about school being out into?
He's right.
There you go. See, he's definitely not being held hostage.
He's right.
Anyways,
there is no metaphorical gun to my head. He is right. Now there is. Now there isn't. Schrodinger's gun to my head.
So overall, I think I would say I really like this album. Big congrats on getting your first album done, your first solo album done.
We in retrospect, we will get it called an album.
Yeah, I don't know why it says EP. That's why I was calling it an EP.
Yeah. It's 24 minutes. It's longer than Daytona and longer
Maybe
than
the threshold is 25 minutes for CD Baby. Maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just got to make something like at least half an hour.
Yeah. Make it 5 hours. We could do it. We could make a 5-hour album.
It's just a 5-hour. It's just a Grateful Dead album. It's just jams.
I remember I wanted to do that electro rock album.
Am I being held hostage? Not yet.
But I remember I wanted to do that electro rock album where the concept was the drummer was stolen or disappeared, and so the whole album has to be done with a drum machine. But, you know, the drummer would still be involved in writing that, obviously, behind the scenes. But the whole concept would be, as the album goes on, we lose more members, and so it becomes more electronic. And then I had an idea for the transition point to getting the band back together would be a cover of Donkomatic by Gorillaz. Because it has that phrase, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. And then the memories all fade out, all fade out. So I felt like that song was perfect for that transition period. Might do that still in the future as a project, but yeah, that's like a big concept I had for years and years. But you've been hinting at it. Voice crack. You've been hinting at it.
You've been hinting
at it that you're working on something new now, yeah?
Yes, I have other songs that I wrote during that quarantine period and songs from before that that I plan to make a second album. Or I guess at this rate it'll be my actual album, but we'll fix that. We'll fix that in post. And also I released a Hanukkah song at the end of 2022.
Yes,
So
I did hear that.
yes, a song for Hanukkah, which I am very proud of as well. And upon my decision to not make a single for this album and just release it in whole, I thought of the idea of just after this, I'll record another song that I have in mind to do that'll be its own non-album single.
Okay.
And just release it as just like, hey, this is me doing the single thing. Like just making one song and then while also working on the next project.
Yes.
And then releasing that. And then after that, a non-album single. That's just like not as a throwaway. Because I'm...
Yeah. The other great thing about releasing non-album singles is eventually you can just as an album.
Correct. So make the compilation, the
Yeah.
very best of, and it's just all your music.
Yeah, it's all your music. The very
everything's the best.
Oh my god, we should re-release Gray Street. The best of Gray Street. It's just all our songs.
With everything, including the singles from after, yeah.
Yeah. Bro, in hindsight, I wish I would have taken way more time on this song. I feel like I was too to get that done. But, I mean, there's always chances to fix it in the future.
Yes.
But yeah. No, yeah. I'm going to give you my small little review of it.
Okay.
So overall, I give the album like a 7 or 8 out of 10. Very good. A lot of things I like about it. And now talking to you, I have more context for the critiques I did have.
Okay.
So one critique I do have is, so I honestly feel like Lost for Words would work really well as a last song for the album. The reason I feel that is because, you know, when you hear an album for the first time, the first song you hear, this isn't always the case, right? There's obviously different things. But when you hear the first song, that kind of gives you an implication of what the rest of the album's going to sound like. And I feel like that's the only song on the album that isn't like a ballad. Where all the other songs are ballads. So I feel like that would have been like a great, like, you hear these songs throughout the album and then it ends with this one that totally changes the pace. And it's like, oh shit, that totally changes the pace of things.
Okay.
Another thing, for Another Day, I literally, when I heard the song, I liked it, but I felt like it 100% could have been like a prelude to like a concept album. Or it could have even been like a song where it's a leitmotif for other parts of the album. And you could still do that in the future. There's no reason to not reuse songs in the future if you can use them in a creative way. But I totally could have seen like albums open up. You start with Another Day. And then like other songs in the album have leitmotif to it. And then the last song could be like Another Day Still. And it's just that, but even more fully produced and crazy and more stuff. You could add whatever, you know? Just things like that. Like you could have that sound, which is supposed to be like the sound of like asteroids passing by. The sounds they have at Space Mountain. Yeah.
Just walking through Epcot, Another Day is playing.
That's not like a critique, more so as I feel like it would work
a personal
better, like a personal preference of where I feel like it could work even better. And then also this I think is like I don't know if it was just when I heard it, but I think let me play this real quick to see if it'll play now. Cuz I feel like there was an issue with the transition. You heard that?
Huh. Maybe this is Spotify though.
It could just be Spotify, but yeah, that's what happened when I first.
Those are two separate recordings though.
They are two separate recordings, but there's like, you know, obviously when you want to transition a song smoothly, which I'm pretty sure that's the intent, right?
Yes.
You don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to double check if that's on the other versions. It's fine. It's not like this ruins the whole album for me. I hate it now. But it was just something I noticed. And then there's like other things too, like in Lost for Words, that little guitar solo at the end. I feel like so there was a guitar solo that was added, and then there was another rhythm guitar added, right? I feel like that rhythm guitar could have been lowered a little bit because when I was hearing it the first time, it kind of distracted me from the solo.
Okay.
So these are just little tiny things, but overall, Fourth, my favorite song. Love the lyrics, love your vocals on it. It has your best vocals on the record. Really, really good stuff. Lost for Words is a lot of fun. I like Eucharist as an instrumental a lot. Very pretty. Not a reference. And then I like the other songs too. Red Handed, Take Your Time. I like both of the songs overall.
I forgot to say, Take Your Time. That's me on the keyboard playing a guitar sound.
Oh.
Because I was just like,
yeah, I was like, is that a harp or a guitar? Like, what is that supposed to be?
Yes, it's a guitar setting on a keyboard because I thought that the chord progression would... Even to ask my friend to learn it, like he's a super talented musician, but I'm just like, I feel comfortable knowing these chord progressions, knowing how they're playing, knowing how it feels.
Exactly.
So, but I also wanted that guitar sound, so I was just like, you know what, screw it. I'll just do a guitar sound and just kind of, and it sounds pretty. Like that opening does sound like a harp. Like,
yeah, I thought it was like a harp or
like a Disney intro,
acoustic
like
guitar. Like it was sounding like one of those. But no, yeah. Again, congrats on the album. Make sure you guys, I linked it there. I'll add it to the description. Actually, let me add it to the description right now.
Once again, it's on Spotify, Amazon, Pandora, Tidal, Target Music, Amazon Music, Apple Music, iTunes,
Deezer.
yeah.
So
YouTube, yes.
yeah, it's on YouTube, and also make sure to follow him on Instagram and Twitter at Hey This Is Capo.
Yes.
So
I also do have a YouTube channel, but I haven't touched it in a while. But there are like dozens upon dozens of song covers, except an Eagles cover, but that was taken down because the Eagles estate protective.
Oh, for real?
Well, Don Henley specifically.
Oh, I have an Eagles cover. It hasn't been
Not yet. Yeah,
I'll show
enough,
you that cover.
all of it was copyrighted except when I improvised the solo, and I'm just like,
wow.
it wasn't just like a copyright.
Where did you upload it?
It was on YouTube.
Oh,
it wasn't
that's
even
so
a
weird.
copyright claim. It was a threat to. It was like a copyright.
It was a strike.
It was almost a strike. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
It's like, you know what? Let's just delete it, get rid of it. Don't want that hassle. I don't even have 30 subscribers.
No, but any last words you want to give to these people before I destroy you?
Any lost words?
Any lost words?
Well, thank you for having me. We arranged this literally earlier today.
Yeah, we arranged this today because I was like, damn, I should interview you.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, man.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. Yeah, I hope you guys seek out and stream the album. If you buy it, I'd also very much appreciate it. Any support is welcome. And yeah, until the next one.
Peace out, guys.
Peace.
We're gonna close this with a song. You know what? You pick a song. We should close it.
You know what? Let's close it on the song that I felt influenced by, or which was it for Red Handed. And the song that I was influenced by for Red Handed and was And So It Goes by Billy Joel.
Great song. That song makes me cry.
Yeah.
Good thing I'm going to turn the cam off when I play it. Thanks for watching, guys. I might go live later tonight to play some video games, but if not, I'll be live tomorrow. Thank you again for coming on, Capo. Stick around. I'm going to show you some stuff after.
And So It Goes.
Here we go.